Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Art Johnston, founder and member of the Equality Illinois Board of Directors.
Wow. If only you could see you through my eyes. It's just remarkable. On June 14th, 1977, my partner, Pepe Peña, the handsome man at table 32, one of the handsome people at table 32, Pepe and I marched through the streets of Chicago, protesting the appearance at the Medina Temple of Anita Bryant, the orange juice queen, who was bringing her anti-gay campaign to Chicago. And what was her campaign called? Save Our Children. And what were we and the 2,000 other marchers in the 70s, what were we demanding? We were demanding not to be treated as a bunch of child molesters. We certainly were not talking about marriage. In the 1980s, we were consumed in the fight against government inaction in the face of AIDS. With our dying colleagues, the bravest people I have ever known, we marched and marched and marched in Chicago, culminating in the April mobilization of 1990, when we laid down in those same hard streets in front of police horses to force faster and better drug research. This sure was not about marriage. What were we demanding? An end to the government policies and public attitudes that treated us as disposable trash to be ignored and left to die. Also in the 1980s, as our self-esteem grew, we demanded laws to end the legal discrimination that allowed LGBT people to be fired from their jobs legally or denied an apartment legally just because they were gay. We built a community. We worked with our allies and we passed the Chicago Human Rights Ordinance December 21st, 1988. The Cook County Human Rights Ordinance, March 16th, 1993, and the Illinois Non-Discrimination Amendment, January 11th, 2005. So, in the 1980s and 90s, we demanded and achieved our basic legal civil rights. Still, this was not about marriage. The meaning and possibility of marriage hit me hardest in one moment at a March 2004 board meeting of the Equality Illinois Directors. We were discussing whether marriage equality should become our next #1 legislative objective, when our treasurer, a very controlled banker, suddenly burst into body-wrenching sobs, because at that moment, he realized that he and all of us could realistically aspire to real equality, that he might live to experience legal recognition of the worth of his love, that our lives could be equal to everybody else. And we began to demand marriage equality. What a change, ladies and gentlemen, from the early years, when the most that gay people could realistically hope for was to get home at the end of the day without being beaten up or fired from their jobs. And so, finally, it was all about marriage. And you know that because you, all of you, have been a part of this great campaign. The idea that gay people could be legally encouraged in our love ignited our enemies' opposition even more than had their earlier conviction that we were all morally despicable pedophiles. Damn. The path to equality has been hard. With many of our enemies casting stones at us from every direction, many of these outspoken enemies using religion to cloak their bigotry. But we did it. We did it. First, there was marriage light, which we call civil unions, November 30th, 2010. And finally, the big kahuna, Anita Bryant's worst nightmare, full equal marriage passing in Illinois. In the Senate on Valentine's Day 2013, the House in November 5, and Governor Quinn, thank you, signature on November 20th. And it's here. It's here. Many of us are still having trouble wrapping our brains around it. I sure hope that my 40-year boyfriend at table 32 will become my husband on June 2nd. Everyone in this room helped make this happen. Whether you are an ally, a friend, whether you are L or G or B or T, whether you were there in the 1970s or the 1980s or the 1990s, whether you came to Springfield or made phone calls or donated money or simply talked to your friends and family about what equality means, you were all a part of that victory. The victory that we are here tonight to celebrate. Celebrations call for toasts. And we are now going to make one. To stand with me for the toast, I want to bring to the stage someone who understands well the challenges of achieving equality. Please help me welcome a good friend of mine, an even better friend of equality, the chair of this historic gala, Colonel Jennifer Pritzker. Bill, could we have some house lights? You know, I live in bars, and I'm used to seeing people in the dark, but you all need some lights. Oh, yeah, I love the house lights. In the same way that we stand up for weddings, let us all now stand. Well, you're already standing. God bless. You're ahead of me. Please get your glass of champagne or other beverage. We are going to toast together, and we are going to be so loud that Anita Bryant can hear us in her orange grove in Florida. Please raise your glasses and loudly repeat these words. To equal marriage and full equality. Let's drink.